two different things.
Now here's some stuff from the Revised Version. Some of the more important passages changed by the revisers. Each passage, as it is in the King James Version, is printed in Roman. The change, as continued in the Revised Version, is in italics, bracketed. Genesis 1:5, and the evening and the morning were the first day. The revision says, and there was evening and there was morning one day. Genesis 4:23, I have slain a man to my wounding and a young man to my hurt. The revision says, I have slain a man for wounding me and a young man for bruising me. Now Genesis 6:4 says, there were giants. I didn't even see this one. There were giants, the Nephilim. There were giants in the earth in those days. And it says, in place of that, there were giants, the Nephilim were in the earth those days. See, the Genesis, the Authorized Version doesn't name the specific group of giants. You know, it just says the giants. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Genesis 22:14, in the mount of the Lord it shall be seen. And revision says it shall be provided. Genesis 4:9-5, instruments of cruelty are in their habitations. And the Revised Version says weapons of violence are their swords. Exodus 11:2, let every man borrow of his neighbor. And here it says, let them ask every man of his neighbor. Exodus 14:20 says, it was a cloud and darkness to them, but it gave light by night to these. And the revision says, there was a cloud and a darkness, yet gave it light by night. That doesn't make sense. Exodus 20:13, thou shalt not kill. Revision says, thou shalt do no murder. Okay. Exodus 30:25, an ointment compound after the art of apothecary. And revision says, a perfume compound after the art of the perfumer. Exodus 40:29 says, and elsewhere, the meat offering and the revision says the meal offering. The meat offering was the offering of food in general. It's not talking about the meat of animals. It's talking about food in general. And then when we sit down to meat, you sit down to eat. That's why it's got meat. It's got eat in it. That's let you know it's eating of anything. That's how God planned it out. Leviticus 19:5, if ye offer a sacrifice of peace offerings unto the Lord, ye shall offer it at your own will. Okay, now check this out. This is a will offering. What is it called? Will offerings, I think it's called. But it says, the revision says, offer it that ye may be accepted. Offer it that ye may be accepted. But the King James says, offer it at your own will. Okay? Now, in Numbers 8:7, see, whenever I was going through it and everything, I didn't get numbers. I couldn't find any. I probably didn't look good enough because I was probably getting sleepy. I'll probably look back later on and check. It says, sprinkle water purifying upon them. Numbers 8:7. And the revision says, waters of expiation upon them. Okay? And Numbers 11:6, there is nothing at all besides this manna before our eyes. The revision says, we have not saved us manna to look to. Okay. Numbers 11:25. They prophesied and did not cease. The revision says they prophesied but did so no more. They prophesied but did no more. That's not the same. They prophesied and did not cease, as opposed to the Revised Version saying they prophesied but did so no more. Those are two different things. Okay. Numbers 23:22. He hath, as it were, the strength of a unicorn. And the revision says of a wild ox. Now we know mystical creatures like the unicorn, as in a horse with a horn coming out of its head, doesn't exist. You know, if it does, it was wiped out of existence. I believe it's talking about the rhinoceros. Let's see here. This says the wild ox, because it's unicorn, one corn, one horn. Deuteronomy 30:11. This commandment is not hidden from thee. The revision said it is not too hard for thee. Two different things. This commandment is not hidden from thee. The revision says it's not hard for thee. Two different things. Okay. Deuteronomy 34:12. The great terror which Moses showed, and the revision said, which Moses wrought. Joshua 6:17. The city shall be accursed unto the Lord. Probably talking about Jericho, I suppose. And the revision says, shall be devoted to the Lord. Again, two different things. The city shall be accursed to the Lord. The city shall be devoted to the Lord in a revision. Two different things. So which one do you think is right? I believe Authorized Version is correct. Let's see here. Joshua 6:26. He shall lay the foundation thereof in his firstborn. Just talking about Jericho. With the loss of his firstborn. And wait a minute, let me back up. In the Authorized Version says, he shall lay the foundation thereof in his firstborn. The revision says, with the loss of his firstborn shall he lay the foundation thereof. It says the total opposite. Judges 5:2. Praise ye the Lord for the avenging of Israel. Revision says, for that the leaders took the lead in Israel. Huh? The revision I'm about. Judges 5:10. Ye that sit in judgment. Revision says, ye that sit on rich carpets. What? Ye that sit in judgment as compared to ye that sit on rich carpets. I'm sure not everybody sit on a type of carpet that was rich material in judgment. As far as I knew, they sit beside the city gates, things like that. Anyway, it just don't make sense. Revision. Ruth 3:15. Bring the veil that thou hast upon thee. Okay, and revision says, bring the mantle that is upon thee. Now, a mantle like Elijah had, I don't see that being used as a veil. I see it used kind of like a coat, but then again, it could have been used as, they put the hood over the head too. That could have been possible. Yeah, so, kind of give that a little bit of leeway, leverage. Okay, so Ruth 4:7. This was a testimony in Israel. Revision says this was the manner of attestation in Israel. A more complicated word there. Okay, 1 Samuel 1:5. Unto Hannah he gave a worthy portion. A worthy portion he gave unto Hannah. 1 Samuel 1:5. The revision says a double portion. There's a big difference between a worthy portion and a double portion. A double portion, there's a slight amount you get for one portion, and you double that, there you go. But a worthy portion, as I don't think goes into definition or the confines of a double portion. I don't know. Depends on how much or what it is. Watching Men in Black is at 880. Anyway. 1 Samuel 2:9. The wicked shall be silent. The revision said, okay, the wicked shall be silent in darkness. But the revision says the wicked shall be silent or shall be put to silence in darkness. Totally different thing. 1 Samuel 2:10. I'm going to read this whole page, and by the time I'm done. Anyway, okay. 1 Samuel, we got 4 pages, alright? So I'm reading 1 out of 4. 1 Samuel 2:10. The adversaries of the Lord, they that strive with the Lord, shall be broken into pieces. This is what it said to King James. The adversary of the Lord shall be broken into pieces. Now, the revision says, the adversaries of the Lord, they that strive with the Lord, shall be broken to pieces. Adversaries strive, yeah, okay. 1 Samuel 3:13, it says, his sons made themselves vile. The revision says, did bring a curse upon themselves. 1 Samuel 2:24-7, so David stayed his servants. And revision says, checked his men. 2 Samuel 4:10, I took hold of him and slew him who thought that I would have given him a reward. Talking about the killing of Saul. And the revision says, slew him, which was the reward I gave him. That makes a little sense, but it's easier to understand, in my opinion, the authorized version. 2 Samuel 14:14, neither doth God respect any person, yet doth he devise means that his banished be not expelled from him. Let's see here. Neither doth, the revision says, neither doth God take away life, but deviseth means that he that is banished be not an outcast from him. Okay, 2 Samuel 14:20. To fetch about this form of speech. The revision is to change the face of the matter. 2 Samuel 16:7. Come out, thou bloody man. Come out, thou bloody man. 2 Samuel 16:7. Revision says, begone, thou man of blood. 2 different things. Come out is a command to come here. In other words, come here, you murderer. But this one says, begone, thou man of blood. Get out of my sight, you man of blood. 2 different things. Come out and be gone. 1 Kings 12:15. The call was from the Lord. And here it says, in the revision, it was a thing brought about of the Lord. 1 Kings 18:17. Art thou he had that troubleth it? Oh, hang on, let me try it again. Art thou he that troubleth Israel? The revision says, is it thou troubler of Israel? A little bit different there. 2 Kings 6:32, hold him fast at the door. And revision says, hold the door fast against him. 2 different things. Hold him fast at the door means don't let him come in. That's the way I see it. Hold the door fast against him is to entrap him against the door and a threshold, to don't let him go anywhere. 2 different things. Okay, 2 Kings 23:17. What tower is that I see? And And the revision says, what monument is that which I see? Title, monument, two different things. 1 Chronicles 13:16, the Lord that dwelleth between the cherubims, whose name is called on it. The vision says, the Lord that sitteth upon the cherubim, which is called by thy name. Okay, 1 Chronicles 14:15, thou shalt hear a sound of going. The vision says, of marching in the tops of the mulberry trees. Of marching, that's what the revision says. Doesn't exactly mean marching. Of going, of people that could be running, that could be on horses. At the time. 2 Chronicles 6:32. If they come and pray in this house, and the revision says when they shall come and pray toward this house. Okay, one says when they come and pray in this house. The other says when they come and pray toward this house. Two different things. 2 Chronicles 14:11. Lord, it is nothing with thee to help, whether with many or with them that have no power. The revision says, there is none besides thee to help between the mighty and him that hath no strength. Two different things. Well, there's nothing besides thee to help between the mighty and him that hath strength. Okay, yeah, well, it's close, but not good enough. Too long. Ezra 3:8, to set forward. I mean, I'm not trying to say I disagree with every single one of them, but there's a few in there that are not agreeable with. The whole thing in my book is not agreeable. It's like when you break one law of commandments, you break them all. Let's see here. Almost done here. Ezra 3:8, to set forward. To have the oversight of the work of the house of the Lord. Well, actually, here's what King James says: to set forward the work of the house of the Lord. And revision says to have the oversight of the work of the house of the Lord. Okay, there we go. Ezra 9:15, for we remain yet escaped. Revision says, for we are left a remnant that is escaped. King James says, for we remain yet escaped. It doesn't say that. The revision says we remain a remnant that is escaped. The first verse, King James verse, doesn't say anything about a remnant. There we go. Okay, so we're getting down the wire here. Nehemiah 1:9. Though there were of you cast out unto the uttermost part of the heaven, and Revised Version says, though your outcasts were in the uttermost part of the heaven, yet will I gather them. Okay. Nehemiah 4:8. To fight against Jerusalem and to hinder it. The revision says, and to cause confusion therein. Two different things. Nehemiah 9:27. Enemies who vex them. The revision says, adversaries who distress them. Two different things. Well, some of them, but yet both are different. Esther 4:5. Gave him a commandment to Mordecai. Revision says, charge him to go to Mordecai. It didn't say that. A commandment. It says, gave him a commandment to Mordecai. It didn't say anything about going to Mordecai. Of course, that would have been entailed to him going. Esther 8:10, last one for this video. Riders on mules, camels, and young dromedaries. Extra 8:10. The Revised Version says, riding on swift steeds that were used in the king's service, bred of the stud. Two different things. Riding on mules, camels, and young dromedaries, as opposed to Revised Versions riding on swift steeds that were used in the king's service, bred of the studs. It's like an Arabian horse or something. Two different things. Come on. Come on. The Revised Version at the time wasn't any better than what we have now. It's the versions that we have today are way out there, way more than their predecessors could have ever been. You know, they're successors to the Revised Version, the New Century Version, and so on. You know, things like that. NLT, ESV, they're way out there.
Two different things.